forearm over here. Quite frankly, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, there needs to be some slight changes in that.
Mm.
Um, the other one looks pretty good. I'm happy with the snakes. Her face continues to be just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, though, like this has like a lot of like weight and just mass to it and everything. So like
Mm.
I'm pretty generally happy with how this has turned out.
Yeah. No, it looks really good.
Yeah, I think I am going to do something though about this arm before I do anything else. I think the hand is the right size. I think it's honestly the arm though, the actual forearm itself that's kind of screwing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh,
Just
also,
hang on the.
as I mentioned earlier,
Yes.
um, hold on, I gotta. Okay, there we go. But as I mentioned on Discord earlier, though, that mini that you've already like set up for McLeach is really good.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah, quite honestly. Um, you managed to like capture the basics of that sketch that I did really well.
Oh, I'll take that as like a genuine compliment. I'm really glad.
Well, it is a genuine compliment. Um, I particularly like the little the little stray hairs coming off the top of his head.
Oh, yeah. I like one, to kind of break the symmetry, and also, um, I think my main inspiration was like Ed from Ed and Eddie. Like where it's like not quite bald, but not quite really anything. Like,
Yeah, uh, yeah. That's I just I really like it. When I was slapping together that sketch in the first place, um, I wanted him to really come across as like scraggly but menacing um, at the same time, kind of like thing.
mm-hmm.
Uh, the main inspiration for him, and it, obviously, of course, I, you know, stole his name uh, and the name for his like tag along pet from the bad guy in Rescuers Down Under.
Oh yeah, no, I caught on that like
Yeah,
really quick.
so um, honestly, I'm looking forward to you guys having uh, an encounter with him because I'll get to like just ham it up. Uh,
Yeah, no, I am looking forward to that too. Especially like I guess you could say like you kind of getting to play a character with like that kind of energy. I guess not that there's anything wrong with the characters you've been playing before, but this one would really be an outlier. I guess is that like the I don't know. It kind of sounds like a more negative connotation of
well,
it.
I mean, it would be different, yeah.
Yeah.
Than it like the thing is that with this guy, like the kind of the energy that I've been like thinking about, and I've been watching clips
Hmm.
from Rescuers Down Under to like kind of get like a feel for the movie villain again. Um, is I really like how like over the top that he is.
Oh yeah.
Uh, the like honestly, the more that like I have watched these little clips, the more I'm reminded of like uh, some of the classic Disney villains that come from that period right before the Renaissance
Hmm.
Disney period.
Yeah.
Um, because like he's actually uh, he's kind of like the he's not a villain, but like the antagonist of Fox and Hound, the
Hmm.
hunter that is the owner of the Hound. He's basically the same dude, just like cranked up to 11.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and I mean you can't like in a way you can't like I like how you said like he's not the farmer. I think it right is from Fox and the Hound.
yeah,
You know.
the lady who owns the fox, she's specifically a farmer. The guy who owns the Hound, her singular neighbor, I think he's just specifically a hunter,
Yeah, or like a
or at least he does a lot of hunting. One or the
yeah,
other.
yeah. Like they at the end of the day, they're not really a like evil bad guy.
Mm-mm.
They're it all it all all like what do you call it? When you break it down, like they're just a normal dude, you know, like doing their kind of job or profession. You know, it's like obviously us as the viewers, know that the animals are anthropomorphized and like are, like there's the whole tragedy of the fox and the hound titular characters and all that.
Yeah.
But
Well, really, the Fox and the Hound is just like, um, friggin' Romeo and Juliet told from like a really weird perspective.
a really weird
Uh,
perspective.
but like, I mean, like one of the other like context, you know, that you got to put two and two together in the movie. Uh, the Fox and Hound is that like the two human characters, which is the old lady farmer and the uh, guy who is the neighbor antagonist. Um, that for them, the animals are just animals.
Yeah.
Like they don't talk to the animals. The animals are not like magical talking beasts or anything like that to them. They're just regular animals. Um, so I mean, which is what puts the hunter into the antagonist like position. Um, because like the fox is literally something that he would hunt in the first place, and also presents like a danger to like chickens and other stuff like that, which he owns. He does own and keep chickens, so like
Hmm.
the danger, the fox represents an actual literal danger. uh,
Yeah, he's not
I
going
mean,
out.
it's a very minor danger, but it's
Mhm.
not. But it is real. Uh, so yeah, he's only an antagonist because he's just not the on the quote unquote main character's like side, and
Uh,
by doing his job, he is coming in between the two, the friendship of the fox and the hound. Uh, he's essentially he's causing a tragedy that he doesn't actually even know is happening.
mhm.
So like yeah, it's he's a really good character, quite honestly. Just as a character, I mean, he also is a very good example, I would say, of a antagonist who is an antagonist all the way through, but is not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Uh, and McLeach, though, from Rescuers Down Under, a couple of years later, going into the Disney Renaissance,
Mhm.
uh, or right there at the beginning of the Disney Renaissance, either way, he is basically the same guy, but like cranked up to 11, who has been out in the wild without any sort of human companionship.
Mhm.
Because at least in The Fox and the Hound, he did have his one neighbor who was the kindly old lady.
Mhm.
Um, and they had a reasonably, like, I mean, they weren't like always happy with each other, obviously,
Mhm.
but like they had a reasonable relationship with each other. But McLeach, though, hasn't had any like real like human interaction in like a long time. Like it's implied that he hardly ever like deals with people,
Yeah.
um, and he prefers to be alone. Uh, so while he is though very clearly like he gets joy honestly out of being cruel, which is what makes him an actual like bad guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah,
but
100%.
But again, if you kind of like, if you try to look at it from his perspective, he's a person who makes all of his living off of the capture, kill, or sell of live, animals from this region. And here's an eagle, golden eagle, that like he knows is going to like just bring in loads of money for him. Um, and he doesn't like dealing with people. And then there's like a kid, an unattended like child who's in his space. That is just like, that's unacceptable because that's a person.
Yeah. Well, honestly, even the again, like doing this initial sketch, I looked at some of the clips from the movie, and at first he is still like kind of a jerk to the kid, but like he's not like, oh shoot, there's this person like messing with my stuff, I'm gonna get rid of him. Like he does like straight up like help the kid out of the trap that he put, but like he doesn't he's not like, initially he's not overtly cruel to him, aside from like pointing his gun at the kid to help him out of the hole. And when the kid's like you're a poacher, poacher's illegal, he's like, oh, this isn't a poaching trap, I'm not a poacher. Like he's being he's essentially an adult.
Yeah, because he's dealing with a child.
Yeah, he's an adult, like kind of like messing with a child. He's being coy, and it's not until the shenanigans happen with the lizard, seeing like the mouse, or the mouse in his backpack, that it jumps him and like the feather falls out, and then that catches the poacher's attention, like, oh, you at least know where the eagle I'm looking for is, and then that's when and again he's not like he doesn't like go like immediately to torturing this kid, because he's still a kid. It's not until like later in the movie, like where he puts him in a cage and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that also doesn't happen until like after, I believe, his like first attempt to like get the eagle like goes awry, and like he loses equipment, and all like valuable resources essentially in that failure. So then he, obviously he then gets to the point where he like crosses that line. And not only does he like, the thing that makes him like a really good bad guy is that once he does cross that line, he's in it for the fun at that point.
Oh yeah.
Because like I especially like the scene where he ties up the kid to dangle over the crocodiles.
Oh yeah, that was
with like the intent that like the kid being in danger would like draw the eagle out, which is kind of a wild call, honestly, for him to make. Of him thinking like, well, this eagle for some reason will like try to save this kid. And of course, that has happened already once. So I mean, there's at least some evidence towards that, but that's still kind of a wild jump, honestly. But he's just having the time of his fucking life terrorizing this child. Which also, again, that's what he's trying to do. He's not trying to kill the kid. He's trying to scare the kid to like draw out the eagle, like you can tell that he's prepared to do it,
Oh yeah, 100%.
Came down to it, he's prepared to do it. But if like, let's say the kid like screams and cries or whatever, the shenanigans of the movie didn't happen and the eagle didn't show up, he'd probably pull the kid back in, and like try to think of something else to do. If that didn't work, he wouldn't just drop the kid to the crocs. So yeah, it's one of those things that just makes him like a really good bad guy, is that when he's ready to like, when he goes into full villainy, he just decides to have fucking fun with it. He's a little off of his rocker, which is kind of the idea that I've had when I put together the poacher. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
is that same sort of deal. He is a guy who goes after uh, big, dangerous game,
Mm-hmm.
which is normally animals, but not always. Uh, and he makes his living off of that. That is what he does. Is he collects bounties, or but he's not really a bounty hunter in and of himself. Like, that's kind of like a side gig. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, you guys are a side gig for him. His main deal is like going after dangerous creatures. And honestly, I think what he probably does, and why he's called the poacher,
Mm-hmm.
um, is that the Darkland elves, they are the ones who handle like the vast majority of food production in the Darklands, um, which would have to include like some kind of like uh, farm stock animals,
Mm-hmm.
which would also like mean that there would be predators and whatnot, that would prey upon large collections of these things. So uh, you know them having to essentially have somebody who is willing to like go out after these like dangerous you know creatures and whatnot, that they would pay for that. That's what he does. But then like probably also what he does is he sets up situations to endanger the food stock animals to
Oh yeah.
draw out the predators, because that way it's easier for him to then take them out and then get the reward for doing so. Because it doesn't bother him one way or the other if the farmers end up losing some of their like underground sheep or whatever the fuck they have. um so it's basically the kind of like the concept that I have of this guy, and I just wanted him to be kind of he's generally a loner, so his social skills are a little meh, you know. Um, but he's not dumb by any sort of means. He is uh, rough, definitely, and uncouth, but like he's not stupid. Um, and also, I intend on playing him like McLeach in the Rescuers Down Under, where he has just an ever so slight sort of like urge to perform. Even like even if his audience is just other animals, or
Mm-hmm.
the kid that he's literally tied up and dangling in front of a bunch of crocodiles. He's basically performing for the child. you know
Yeah.
he's just over the top, like that kind of like sort of way. So that's sort of the idea that I wanted for this McLeach, is for him to be just kind of over the top. And the the serpent folk have hired him to help them with the thing that they were ordered to do. And
Having health insurance
uh,
is important. So, if
so
you
he's
or
basically
anyone in
just
your
using the
family needs
exact same
medical.
fucking tactics that he
Tactics.
does with dangerous animals. Is he took the information essentially that the serpent folk had collected on the party, took a look at it, saw that there was something that was generally important to the party, and in order to get you guys to come to him in a place that he would have all of the advantages,
Mm-hmm.
is he goes and he gets that thing and he brings it down there so that you guys have to come get it. And it's been very impressive, honestly, that like in all the places where I've shared that sketch
Mm-hmm.
of McLeach, like holding Torque in one
Hostage.
hand, and with her like kicking, and uh, she's got the bind over her mouth, and she's like, cursing at him or whatever. That has gotten such an incredibly strong response, in every place that I've posted it. Uh, like I posted it in one of the other servers, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, somebody and somebody was like, I smite that guy. I will smite that guy. Where is he? And I was
Oh,
like, don't worry about it. Like 6 or 7 characters are already gunning for him right now. And he's like, well, if they don't, I will.
I think it's like the kind of, for lack of a better word, damsel in distress kind of thing with Torque.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
like they see her like hanging, tied up, obviously in like distress, and that just makes the people angry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, plus also, if you think about it, I uh, I don't think I've really like drawn Torque in distress. Um, in much any way, like in most of the images that I have drawn of her, uh, she is having fun because that's what Torque does. She is a professional fun haver, um, and so like showing her in a situation where she's not having fun, very much not having fun. Um, I think that like hits a lot of people, and like uh, as I've mentioned before, Torque is a Disney princess, um,
Yep.
and so a lot of people tend to have that like uh, must protect, kind of like vibe with her, um, which I find that fun. That's just kind of been a thing that has happened with Torque. Uh, but but yeah, like I'm honestly I'm really looking forward to being able to like play McLeach and have him just be
Absolute
a like
character.
yeah, just an absolute character, just an over the top, campy sort of villain. Um, and if I am lucky and things play out the way that I would like them to, uh, I would like to hopefully have um, Umber show up, so that I also get a nice contrast, like in between the two of them, um, like the kind of villain that Mick Leach is versus the kind of villain that Umber is.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I mean, also, this isn't a spoiler or anything, but like the meta text of this particular arc of the game is to start separating Umber from the Serpent Folk, um, at least in the minds of the party, because they're very entwined, and obviously visually, uh, the Lamia and the Snake Folk are very very similar. Um, so I just my goal essentially is to make it clear that Umber is using these motherfuckers as tools, and she is willing to drop them like a fucking hot potato at any goddamn moment.
Yeah.
If they don't, do exactly what she says. Um,
I mean, I guess it
and
did help that June ended up having a hotline to their boss.
I mean, yeah, that definitely does help, because otherwise, Umber was trusting essentially, that because she sent a message to this cell that she did, legitimately originally say, find these fuckers, and bring, bring the Imperial girl to me, but the rest of them I don't give a shit. Um, and then her sending me another letter being like, okay, that's no longer important, just drop that, go do this other thing. Them not obeying the second order was not something that she would have anticipated. Like she would expect to immediately pivot to the new thing that she pointed them at. So her finding out that like not only did they not do that, but they also hired outside help.
Ooh.
His has got her in a tiz. So she is ready to make examples.
Genuine question. Did you expect me to in-game phone number?
I mean, I knew that it was a theoretical possibility. The thing really that I was kind of like wondering about was whether or not you would remember it. Or put the two and two together that June could, through the connection, reach out and get a hold of Umber, essentially.
Yeah.
So I mean, you calling up Umber, I mean, wasn't like exactly like planned or anything, obviously, but it was, something I was vaguely prepared for should it have happened.
Well, as like far as like June's perspective in game, she knows that, or like she attempted last time just like to kind of like ring her, I guess, or she was just saying like hey Umber, are you there, like just like, and Umber did like respond, or like her presence like was called, but as far as like
you did phone her up,
but as far as like June kind of using that kind of connection like a two-way street, like where she can kind of push her consciousness and like see what Umber is seeing, she still, I mean, like she might get the sense that she could, but like excuse me, like she at the moment, I would say, thinks that she has to have that the call answered before she can kind of like push her way in, essentially. Like she may still not know that she has like that door open, essentially, to kind of peek in if she wanted to,
Yeah. And I mean, like, I can obviously see where the logic is in that of June not knowing, because she hasn't tried. But like, I think that all of the like seeds essentially to put that idea into her head have been placed. It just will take time for it to germinate. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, like, I'm just saying,
I set up for you to have the hotline to the snake lady.
Yeah.
So like, I've always kind of planned on the like when it's something to do with the serpent folk or whatever, that there's always the possibility, that you might pull that trigger.
Yeah, and I, like, obviously, like, I, the player, like we discussed before, like June, like I know that June has that thing, like, where if she, like, say she wanted to, she could have come clean to the party, like, hey, I have this hotline to this snake lady that's been after us, like, let's use that to our advantage, and like like essentially like collect reconnaissance. Gosh, I am tired.
Yes.
Reconnaissance on her, and like maybe do some shenanigans of their own, but like I try to keep like in character and all that stuff, like,
and I do appreciate that.
It's not quite.
I mean, it's. I'm very glad that I've been able to like present you with some, well, obviously, like potential advantages and whatnot, and you, the player, have tackled it from a very mature standpoint, and like have played into that whole like, okay, what would my character do conceivably with this information?
Yeah, I was like, I really do hope that like I didn't really ham it too hard with the whole, you know, like June, like getting on her hands and knees and like, you know, like just like screaming her and like, you know, not,
Oh no, not at all. That was a very appropriate response at an appropriate moment.
yeah, because from June's perspective, like, or like her thoughts in that moment, like she thought she fucked up and, you know, she was responsible for that, at least partially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why she just like was, is she, if Umber hadn't like really if Umber had it been like a bit more I guess like callous, or maybe like, you know, like dismissive, like that would have pissed off June. Maybe it would have been, you know, kind of ruffled up Umber's scales a bit at her, but but yeah, no, she was pissed. She was reeling. She would have, if the trek to the underground was like any shorter, like she would have, you know, she would not have had a cool head, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, like when you sent me that, you know, whispers in game, when you did dial up Umber to be like, you know, to demand, you know, of her, of like, hey, did you have anything to do with this? You know, like just simply the language that you know, the dialogue, the word choices, honestly, that you made, like it made that like, sense of like barely contained emotion. You know, and you know, I as I've mentioned before, like I try to play off Umber as you know, sometimes doing her like you know, snake bit thing of like being the unemotional like reptile. Like she caught that. You know, she wouldn't have even needed the special empathy thing, just from June's word choices of like, oh shit, she mad. You know, so like when, you know, you called Umber up, it wasn't exactly like at the best moment for her to like talk back, but she knew that it was serious immediately, which is why she, you know, opened up her calendar, such as it were, as soon as like she had like 3 minutes to order somebody around to do something. But yeah, like it was an appropriate response. It was a okay, that's on that layer. I thought that it was I mean, also like, you know, given you know, June's relationship with Torque, that was a very like appropriate thing for June to do, and then like to also like, you know, reach out to the bad guy you do have a hotline with and be like, did you have anything to fucking do with this? You know, and as soon as that was otherwise like cleared up, and also June was made aware of the fact that like, you know, it's gonna be a climb, you know, to get down into the the Darklands that that her, like just essentially like hitting that moment of collapse. Was I believe like very realistic and deserved, and all of that sort of stuff. So like it was very good role playing. I want to make sure that that it was
Yeah.
very good role playing, and I thoroughly.
I get that. I again, like, I just don't want it to come off like too much, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I get you. I understand, and I don't think at any point that was beyond appropriate. So,
yeah. And I did genuinely like the fact that the other players too, like they, like they kind of picked up on the fact that something more was up, and like they were like they kind of stepped up a bit too, and like
mm-hmm.
like say like, hey, like are you good? But you also need to like get your shit together, like that. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought that it was also it was very appropriate for Shadow Wizard Running to put a hand on June's shoulder and be like, hey, I understand, but now's not the time for screaming and crying. We got to do something about this. And if I can, I will make sure that you get the killing blow, kind of like thing. So
that was great.
Yeah, that was really good. And I told Danger that Tim got his shit rocked, and the reason being that like they all showed up, disguised with McLeach outside of the camp, because McLeach doesn't have shape shifting like the snake people do. So he was just hiding outside of camp and waiting for the signal, and then 11 snake people come walking into the camp, all disguised as the homesteaders that Tim would know and trust. So like they just walk in, and the moment his back is turning, they just mollywop him just all the way down.
Oh yeah.
So they just left him in a pile. Signal McLeach. McLeach comes in, secures Torque, and then they leave, and they just leave the middleman, laying there, because again, it would be, one of those things of like, well, when the other people come back, specifically June, they'll find, like this orc guy over here, either dead or up very close to it. They'll find their robot friend all crumpled up, and their half-orc friend will be missing.
Okay. So wait, did we just are you kind of like, I get the whole like the player character being indisposed for quite a while, and like not sure when they came back. Are we kind of like retconning that like Tim was there at the camp, just like in pieces, or
no, he was not there when you guys showed up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I talked to Danger. Danger said that unless something weird happens, he will be available to actually be there at next session. And so what I told him is that Tim got mollywopped, essentially. And they applied a bunch of conditions to him as opposed to like hit point damage, so he doesn't have to worry about Tim being at lesser advantage due to hit points.
I get you.
They just like hit him with a bunch of conditions that like completely shut him down while they did their shit. But eventually it ran out before the rest of the party showed back up.
Mm-hmm.
So once Tim was able to get back onto his feet, he gave immediate chase. So basically Tim is in between the party and the kidnappers.
Okay.
So that was the thing, and I was going to have when you guys were going down into the Darklands, and I've already told Danger this, is that he's been he's been leaking oil a little bit as he's trying to give chase, and since we established in Whitford that all the automatons use a lubricant that has a very specific sort of scent to it, which Jamal is familiar with, then that would be like that would just simply key in like Tim is down here and moving, kind of like thing. So yeah, I like I said, I already talked to Danger about it, and what I'm kind of hoping for is that when we start next session, you guys will have your encounter with Dan, and I'm honestly interested on how that's going to play out.
Okay.
And then after dealing with Dan, then y'all go down. Eventually, you would meet back up with Tim, and then continue to, as a whole group, give chase. Okay. Is this egg big enough? Let's grab the egg and put it inside the ovipositor. Yeah, I can totally make it through that. Okay.
Now the trick is to put that egg in the June.
Yeah, that's the next trick. All right, so I'll grab another one here.
Let's see that too.
Put those together. Okay, and then let's duplicate one more time.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Put it up here.
So I should do it on this layer instead.
Like that. Okay, so then that's in there. Let's erase that bit. And erase that bit. I want to grab these two. I'll move them down some so there's a tangent going on there.
I know we're like kind of both in our zone.
Yeah,
we were talking about Don Bluth. I mean, not Don Bluth. The Disney movies at the very start. Now we're like like does this egg fit like scale to this ovipositor here?
well, only the important questions. Also,
Actually, speaking
Disney has only just now decided, investigate pegging in their movies.
Speaking of which, actually, for the longest time I thought that The Rescuers was a Don Bluth movie, but no, it's actually a Disney movie.
Don Bluth worked on it though.
Oh, he did. Okay, that's
yeah,
why.
Yeah.
I guess he
he was still a Disney animator. Yeah. Yeah, you can see his fingerprints all over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what threw me off.
Yeah, like him and Mark Dahl were both animators on Rescuers Down Under and the original Rescuers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I did enjoy American Tail as a kid. Like, that was actually one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Or was it one or two? Let's see. Let me Google that. American Tail.
I would have to admit that I have better memories of the sequel, the one where they're out in the like American West. Um,
Yeah, that was
I
one of
do
the
have
sequels.
I do have better memories of that one, but I have very positive feelings though about the the first one. Um, that one is it's just it's a good movie. It really is. Okay, now let's get some.
Which one was it that they were in?
Let's get some. Let's get,
Ah, this one, yeah. The Treasure of Manhattan Island. That was the one I watched. So they're in New York, and like they find a Native American mouse village in the sewers of New York. Oh,
wow, I have no memory of that.
yeah, that was the one I. That was the um, only American Tail movie I had as a kid. Also, hi Shadow. I'm sorry I didn't see your redeem. I was busy looking up American Tail, but I'll go ahead and do those squats for you right now. Hopefully, I'm not too sore from work to do these because, oof, I have definitely been feeling stiff after. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Speaking of work, what have they been having?
I've been in the kitchen mostly.
Okay, well, I mean that makes sense. It's kind of what I figured. Um,
I've also been
like a,
packaging, or not packaging, like putting the, well, yeah, packaging, um, the like food like on the line, like
mm-hmm.
put them in the to-go boxes and put them in like the trays for dine-in.
Is it a like? Is it like a short order kitchen, or are we talking joint?
What's the? What do you mean by that? Like the example, I guess. Like.
Well, like a short order kitchen would be where kind of like a like imagine like old school diner where you would come in and like sit down, place an order, somebody would take that order, run it back to the kitchen, and then it would be made like on the spot.
Oh no, it's more like a fast food place.
Okay.
It is fast food. It's fast food, but chicken strips.
Is it a Cane's?
Yeah, did I not say my new job was at Raising Cane's?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's honestly been really, really nice there.
That's good.
The work itself kind of sucks because it's just super busy, but like the people are nice. Um, it kind of helps that the menu is so simple because it's just kind of easy to just know, the small variations in this order versus that order. It's not too much information overload, and I honestly have enjoyed it a lot more than other restaurants I've been at.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
I just don't like working at fast food.
Well, I mean, yeah, that
Which,
that is the downside.
yeah, which kind of makes me wonder why I even applied there in the first place. I just saw like I was doing DoorDash and I saw the sticker. It's like so and so places, top restaurants to work at, sticker at the front. I'm just like, huh, okay, I'll see what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I really shouldn't, base my judgment off of a sticker on the window, but it's.
Well, sometimes those stickers don't lie.
Yeah, and the people have been so nice.
That's good. I'm very glad to hear that.
Like they like
because I remember tales from your previous experience where it was not that.
Yeah. I definitely am very thankful I'm not working at KFC anymore. But man, it's the commute, and I think like the earliest I work is either at like 10:30 a.m. or like 11, and it's like until like let's see, I got out at 5 p.m. today, but it was so busy that like it took me a bit to like actually like come to a stopping point and like like get my duties done to clock out.
Yeah.
So that was like more like 5:15, and then it takes and then it was like rush hour, of course, so traffic's pretty clogged up, but it wasn't too bad. But still added like another like 5-10 minutes to get out of there. And then it's like a 50-minute drive, so I didn't get home till like 6. Then I hadn't eaten since breakfast. I actually ate breakfast this time.
That's good.
So I picked up something to eat. That took like another like 30-ish minutes just to get home. So it's just like, but by the time like I'm home, it's already like 7 past 7. And it's just like, not that there isn't much I can't do a lot at 7 p.m. It's just that like I'm so like tired. I haven't changed out of my work clothes. It's just that.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot. And when you're also like fighting fatigue, it's a lot.
Oh yeah, no, I told you last night. I messaged you. I say last night, but it was like this morning or that like I said goodnight to you, and I said I was gonna work on this drawing here, and then all of a sudden I just had like this, like someone like smacked me in the face with a pillow. Just boom, I just felt so tired. I'm like I'm just gonna lay down and stretch my back on like this pillow, like like you put the pillow like under your back, and watch a YouTube video. And I just remember hitting play on that YouTube video, and then I woke up and it was like 1:30 a.m.
Yeah. Speaking of, I almost beefed it this morning.
Oh no.
I had my alarm set and whatnot, and I mean, honestly, I slept well. So there's that. But like my alarm went off. I wake up and I'm feeling really groggy. So I am just kind of like laying there in bed because like I set my alarm for like an hour and a half. I gotta leave the house, and my commute is only like 10 minutes, so like my commute is like sweet. But and honestly, I kind of like the morning hours because it means lesser traffic.
Oh yeah.
But like but yeah, so like I woke up and I'm just laying there in bed. I've still got my CPAP mask on. I'm reasonably comfortable or whatnot, but I'm like trying to like stretch my toes and just wake my muscles up and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just kind of like sort of bleary and everything as I'm like waking myself up. Okay, I want to go get some coffee and I'm gonna make breakfast, blah blah blah. And then like I turn my head to look back over so I can like turn off my CPAP and like check the clock and whatnot, and it's like 5:26, and I'm like, shit. So like I'm up and out of bed and like I'm grabbing my clothes and like going into the bathroom and like taking a piss and everything and like getting into my clothing, making sure I've got all my stuff. Then I'm like, okay, I gotta take pills and I gotta get something in my body. So I didn't have time to make anything for breakfast. I sucked down a like one of those like probiotic drinkable yogurt shots like I had one of those, and I had my pill, and then um, and I grabbed a cookie, just so that I had something.
Mhm.
But the route that I was doing is it's called the Route 4 that goes down
Mhm.
to Georgetown from Conway, which is like a 50-minute drive.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it ends at a Piggly Wiggly. That's where the stop is. And if I get there early, I have to wait until like the time when I'm supposed to leave that stop. So if I get there early, I can uh, basically just go into Piggly Wiggly and grab something. So that's what I'm thinking I'll do.
Yeah.
And I just also happened to luck out though that when I got to the station and I walk into the back to start doing my check, uh, in walks one of the maintenance guys, and he's got like a huge McDonald's bag, and they just brought like biscuits for
Hey.
everybody, and I was like, hey, jackpot. So I had me a little something to eat, uh, took care of my pre-inspection of the bus and everything, and I was out the door and on time, and down the road, and I still got there a little bit earlier, so I popped into uh, popped into Piggly Wiggly,
Mhm.
grabbed me a Monster Energy for a little bit of extra caffeine, and that was that. So, but by the time I got home, though, I
Oh
was
yeah, I imagine it hit you
famished.
pretty
Yeah,
hard.
I was famished by the time I got home. Um, so I made myself a chicken wrap. I had one last piece of chicken left over from my thing that I had
Mhm.
previously bought, so I munched that, and then I just kind of turned myself over to do some art stuff. Have just been basically relaxing, and it wasn't until I talked to you a little bit earlier that I was like, I'm starting to feel hungry again. I guess I'll go make myself a sandwich.
Mhm.
So you know it's been good. It's just I've got to remember though to when my alarm goes off, I need to actually get out of bed. Um,
Trust me, I've been there way too many times.
yeah, I and the thing is I did not think that I had fallen back asleep. I'm just laying there kind of like trying to relax.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the problem. You don't realize you fall asleep. You fall back asleep till it's too late.
yeah, that is the problem. Um, but yeah, but other than that though, I haven't really had any like problems or anything with that. Uh, I've uh, I've only had like one customer try to like um, play me because they realize that I'm like the new driver. Um, so I've only had like one person even try anything, and I was like, nah, we're not we're not doing that. So it's been overall it's been a very good experience, and I'm I'm happy with it. That's not what I intended to do. God damn it! I didn't want to. Okay, press the right button this time. All right, there we go. No, you did it wrong again. Son of a bitch. Just, uh, okay, we'll just do this the hard way. All right. But yeah, it's been it is still very much a job,
Mhm.
but um, it's been a overall like very good experience. It's been a uh, it thankfully has only really tested my stamina once.
Mhm.
Um, and when I've come home from like the split shift, I have been quite tired, but like in a manageable way. So that's been a very positive thing, and I'm very glad for that.
I'm glad to hear that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been real careful. Like I wouldn't say that careful, but like that like I know this this new job, you know, it's still work and it's, you know, long hours, long commute. Well, it's like not too bad. It's not too bad. It's like I'm not working like, you know, 10 plus hours, but you know, it's just the time adds up, you know. And it just leaves me with like a lot less time to do, you know, stuff like this than I would prefer, but it's just something that I am accepting as a minor concession. Is that the right word?
It'd be a minor concession.
Yeah, because I, you know, went like this past year without, you know, a job, and you know that really did truly suck. You know, having to, if it wasn't for this job, I'd still be doing this, driving the same amount of hours just to do DoorDash. Which, I mean, that one at least like it goes by a lot faster because I'm on the road and I can listen to, you know, my whatever podcast or Twitch stream. It's a lot more like my pace versus, you know, the nonstop kind of just really hectic you know, restaurant stuff, because Cane's is one of the, if not the busiest restaurant in our city.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good restaurant. Like, honestly, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, I used to work for Zaxby's, and they're very similar to Cane's, and the one that I worked at specifically was in a little town called Watkinsville, and it was at the time, it was, and we're talking like 1999, it was the like second busiest of all of the Zaxby's that currently existed at the time. And it was crazy busy, a lot there, but most of the time it was pretty manageable. There were points when it was not. There were definitely points when it was not, but it was usually reasonably manageable, and it was especially the first like year or so, were like it was honestly, it was legitimately fun most of the time to work there. Not to mention, you know, practically as much delicious chicken as theoretically shown in my mouth. So you know, like that's its own benefit. But yeah, it was quite the experience. But the thing about Zaxby's for me is it was the job that taught me not to let anybody walk over me. Because you know, at the time, the whole like concept of like you could be abused by your boss in a, you know, like work situation kind of thing, like not even like a, you know, an inappropriate sort of thing, but just simply like you know, your boss is getting you to do shit that you really shouldn't have to put up with, kind of abuse. Like that was barely even a concept. And the original boss that I had there was a legitimately pretty dang good guy. But then the boss that replaced him was pretty much the polar fucking opposite.
Yeah.
And it was not fun in every way that it could be. And they were terrible. Enough so that like I ended up quitting, but like it was a thing that taught me, hey, don't let any other just because somebody's a manager, don't take their shit, just because they're a manager.
Yeah.
Or just because they are the CEO's niece, as that was also the specific situation. Don't let them give you shit for nothing. So like that was the thing that like I took pretty much to every job I've had ever since then, where I've told bosses like straight up like, hey, you fuck with me, I will take you to court. I will get litigious. So like, don't fucking test me. And I've had a couple of bosses scoff at that, and and then ended up serving them papers. So
Were they still scoffing?
Yeah, they weren't scoffing after that. But I mean, like, honestly, I wish I'd had that kind of like forethought and balls at the time when I was working at Zaxby's. So Jesus Christ, that was a ugly situation. Like on top of everything else, like they had me train my own replacement, kind of like,
oh, they were that
thing. Yeah. They fought me tooth and nail on workers' comp. I've probably told. This was the place where I was when I came back from being injured, and every single person had been replaced with like new employees, and they were all like rejects from McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah.
So like. And then they immediately like fucking take off, like that whole jazz. Like that was just
a what's it called? Revolving door.
Yeah, it was a revolving door. Just like everything was bad, and the owner's niece, who was the like replacement boss from the first one, she was one of those types of managers who focuses like 100% of their like energy on being punitive to their employees. Like everything is a like they don't come at you with like a here's what I want you to do. It's here's all of the things that we will fire you, kind of thing. Like that's what they lead with. That was the kind of bitch that she was, to put it simply. So that also became one of those things that whenever just fit in a job, them approaching like that angle first, it became a red flag for me of being like, I'm probably not going to stick around.
Yeah.
So like that's always been one of those things. So when I've talked to other people about it, I'm like, if you're good at the job and they're just constantly on you with like, if we catch you doing this or this or this, especially if they're like, especially if they really feel like ridiculously meaningless things, then yeah, that is a red flag that you should pay attention to. That you should probably get the fuck out of there. Okay, I'm happy with these grays. Let me add a little bit of dots, and I think we'll be good here.
How does this look with the hair?
Oh, that looks good. Like it's patchy and scraggly. Friggin' trash Batman.
Yeah, this is well, I was about to say Man-Bat, but Man-Bat's actually like a legitimate villain in, like, you know, Batman's Rogues Gallery, which is like, you know, it's purely for the irony's sake, you know, but like there have been like some pretty good stories with that in the BTAS.
Yeah. Yep. Honestly, Man-Bat's in that is amongst my like absolute favorite episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, did you change the resolution on your the DPI?
The DPI I did just to the, let's see. The DPI is set to 144 right now.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because I was going to mention that like there's a noticeable difference with your lines for their for the anti-aliasing.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. But I thought the DPI, like, okay, so refresh my memory. Is the DPI just for when you print it, or like what is the?
Well, DPI is literally dots per inch, which originally, yes, is a print term. But it basically what it does is it makes the rendering of the lines or brush strokes or anything like that, it the higher the DPI, the denser the DPI, then the smoother the lines are going to be, the less aliasing there's going to be, the more streamlined your gradients and all that sort of stuff that makes up your individual brush strokes and your colors and all that sort of stuff. It's just simply going to be of a higher quality. And a long time ago, 72 DPI was the industry standard for screens. So if it was not intended to be printed, it was just going to be a simple graphic that you were going to put up on a website or whatever. And also, like the size of your graphic files was a thing back then. 72 DPI was what became the industry standard. Industry standard now is more like 96 to 100 because screen quality has gotten so much better, and individual file size of individual big of a deal anymore. So it's just simply gone up, but that's why 72 you'll find with program, that's what it's for. If you want something to get a nice clean smooth print, you want to go 300 to 600, and my files, I normally keep mine at 300 DPI. And that's just simply because when I worked professionally, that's what I would do then, is because a lot of the stuff that I was making printed, a lot of the stuff that I was making at the time was going to be turned into like booths and stuff like that would be put together at like conventions and things. So the quality on those images and everything had to be pretty high. So I just simply got used to working at 300, and like I said, the whole like image size, file size thing has every year become less and less of a big deal. So it's not really something that is a thing that like I care about or think about so much. But I have noticed with Clip Studio, once you have a file that gets up over a gig in size, then that's when it starts to get a little chunky, or it starts to chug a little bit. So if you're concerned about it, what I would do is I would take a look at what your file size is, and if you want to reduce file size, some things that you can do is merge all layers that you want to and can otherwise get away with, depending on what you got to do with that file. And if you have any text or smart objects or vector things, then rasterize them. Again, unless you need to have them to be editable as vector or smart objects, just rasterize them. That reduces them to the smallest footprint. So should that come up as you're working on your stuff and you're working at this new resolution, then just keep an eye on how Clip Studio is behaving, and check your file sizes to see where they're sitting at, and if they're starting to get over approaching like 2/3 of a gig, then that might be trimming them down. Also, I don't know like how you do your file organization, especially with like art files, but like for me, I use the same file for a lot of images. Like a lot of the stuff that recently that I've done with Oda, it's all in one file.
I did notice that, yeah.
So it's in one way, it's that way I can open up one file and I have access to all of my like most recent stuff that I have done. But eventually those files get to be too fat in order to like run smoothly. So what I will then do is I will then flatten out individual pieces, or alternatively I will group together stuff into a folder, and then I will copy that folder and move it over to a brand new file, so it's just that stuff as opposed to everything. And that way it basically, the reason that I do that is that, one, if I migrate stuff over like that and I flatten things down, that will help reduce individual file size. And if I make as many different images in one file as I can, then that reduces the amount of file clutter in the folder when I go to look for or look for an art file that I've been working on. Because god damn it, the amount of times I've been like, where the fuck what folder was that in? What image was that in? And me just having to go, like 50 files to find the one damn thing that I'm looking, because it's buried somewhere down underneath like 7 or 8 different projects in the same file, turned off for forever, and I don't remember which one it is. And also in like years past, I was very stupid in not like putting year or month dates in the file name itself,
Oh no.
so that like I could find, so I've got, um, I have 3 separate art files which are just titled Calliope Fucks, and they have a whole bunch of different like stuff in them, and one of them doesn't even have any lewd content in it at all. It's all safe for work, but it's still titled Calliope Fucks .clip, and so like, yeah, occasionally I'll have to go find some older piece of artwork, and I'll be like, which one of these pictures was it in? And I'll think to myself, well, I should rename that. But then I'm in the middle of a project, which is why I'm in there in the first place, looking for the thing. So, you know, it just gets put on the, you know, bottom of the totem pole, and then I fucking forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have that exact same problem again, like a month later.
How
I should rename these. Like,
how do you think this looks? I did bring up Gloria, our other trollsh, onto the canvas.
That looks pretty good, because Gloria is right at about 8 feet tall. She is a large-sized creature, but she's very short for a large-sized creature, whereas McLeach is more of an average size for a large-sized creature, so he's a little over 10 feet tall. So yeah, that looks appropriate between the two.
Maybe a bit less.
Yeah, maybe just squish him just a wee bit.
Like that?
Yeah, like slide him over closer to her.
I did have him, like, you know, kind of be at the same level.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That looks good.
No, actually, I just gotta. Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, there we go.
Heck yeah. See, now, there's another thing that, like, Adobe has that's incredibly basic that Clip Studio does not, and it bugs me every fucking time, is it doesn't have simple alignment tools. Like, God, you would think that it would be, or that it should be, an easy thing for you to, like, click on a object and then be able to click on a button that just centers it in the middle of canvas.
Oh, I know what'll help. If I just like down to 20, and then get rid of Gloria here real quick, and not that. Yeah, that seems about center, as far as I can tell. Even if it's like a pixel off, I don't know.
And also if it's a pixel off, like, it don't matter.
Yeah, but no, I get what you're saying. Like, it's a super fucking basic thing that, like, you know, Adobe has. That's like, you know, just like a big quality of life thing, but for some reason they don't have. Maybe it's like a legal thing, but who knows? You see, it's Goblin Time. Not Goblin Time. They are. This is a troll, but like it's a troll. It's like looks like a bat. It's
Bat troll.
Yeah, bat troll. Na 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 na.
Bat troll.
Yeah, and then there's Gloria. Yeah. She is a stone troll, right? Like
her subtype, such as it is mountain troll.
Mountain troll. Yeah.
So he is a cave troll.
Cave troll.
She is a mountain troll.
Yeah, cave troll, that makes sense. But before get any more distracted, I did want to ask, what kind of colors did you want to have our McLeach, the cave troll, be?
What I was kind of thinking is, I was thinking of having him look really pale, like like a pale gray. So think almost more like Torque's colors, but with like shock white hair kind of like thing. So I was thinking originally, what I was thinking is like my vague idea essentially was that going with those sort of like kind of like albino colors. But I don't know if that's how, if that's the way that I want to do it, kind of like thing. But that was sort of like my idea originally, was just to have him be kind of like pale and imply that like he's down in the caves all the time, so he's pale. But like it would also be appropriate to have him be dark color, because then that would be like a natural camouflage. So either friggin' works, really.
Is it like a shock white kind of for the hair?
Yeah, but I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking for the hair, like shock, or some other like I wanted the hair essentially to be like the thing that gave like color to him, really.
I kind of wish with Fairbanks's 2-minute tabletop, and again, full disclosure that I always do whenever I post these tokens and stuff online, is that these are based off of these mannequin template things that Fairbanks was so gracious to lend to me some time ago, and I still use them because they are a lovely tool, even though we go from that essentially to this fucking Wolverine looking dude. But it I do want to give them the credit because it is only fair. What was I saying before that? But yeah, the color, the gray and the white, or did you want like a darker color?
Let's go for a.
I remember what I was gonna say. Their website that they make these tokens for, they have like a color slider, like where you could literally it literally grabs like the hair, and that it does that. You can mess around with the hue and saturation, all that, and then like you get the skin that's like another thing, and you can mess with that, and then you save that, and like that's what you download, that specific color, which I think is really neat.
Yeah, that is really freaking neat, actually.
I wonder if it's like something to do with the website that they use, or if it's like the way they save their clip files. I would ask them, but they don't really talk to me much anymore, which is fine.
Although, though, to go along with the pondering there, that's probably a function of how the website is built. Honestly, I mean, probably the file setup is important for that, but yeah, it's probably ultimately though a function of the site itself. As far as though like colors, I kind of feel like maybe he should have have the hair really be like the color, like the pop of color, So like bodily, that he's got a like a mottled gray kind of like thing that would help him blend into the environment that he's in. But then like him just having like some bright colored hair. I think that could be like an interesting sort of like an interesting dichotomy.
Let me see. Let me just do. I mean, I have it clipped to the mask anyways. Let me see. What if I do a gray hair for this? Just bamboo. Oh, wait, what? Oh, I did not clip it. I am a goof. And just kind of manually do what I was talking about earlier, like where the skin and hair, just toy around with the the hue and the saturation. Make our own little fun wacky combinations. And do you remember those? Do you remember those commercials for those really weird, like, you know, candy or like toy car making factory, like where it's just like a kid's toy? You just basically like have like melted wax or plastic and put in the mold.
Vaguely, I do vaguely remember something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I was, you know, I'd watch TV all the time, so I would just see those commercials all the time. Would the ears be a separate color, or would they be more or less the same?
The ears, because you've got like a little hint of the like outside part of the ear. Like I think the outside back of his ear, I think should be the same tone as whatever his like general skin color is, but the inside of his ears would probably be
Oh shit.
you know, like do some like friggin' you know,
Pink.
pink, yeah, like pink or something.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, and then we have that. Then we can do the hair on another layer. That one you said you wanted to be like shock white. So let's go ahead and see what that would look like. It does give you like that albino bat look they were saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't look bad at all. But I think if I just block in the color, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if I just block it in for now, that will...
And I would also go ahead and give him red eyes.
Red eyes? Or like pink? Or
yeah. Well, yeah, go for a pink red.
like a pink red, yeah. Like, you know, actually, weird tangent, but like, I was watching a modeling, painting, like a model painting video, and like they mentioned how painting red is frustrating because when you highlight, you add like white to it to make like a lighter color. With, you know, like you do like a white to a blue, it's like a light blue. You light green, it's like a light green. But with a red, it makes pink. So you usually have to highlight with something like an orange, which gets a bit annoying. And I can definitely see where that would be annoying. And like it would not be fun, I imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about color theory in that, and the highlight would also like really depend on sort of like light sources. on whether you're talking like a cool toned light or a warm toned light.
Yeah.
And if it's supposed to be natural lighting, it's going to be slightly warm tone, which means orange would be the way you would go for it, and then you would go for like a brown for the shadow. Because trust me, I have had a lot of fun figuring out how to make Demoni's hair look vibrant and not like she's just wearing like a plastic hair shaped thing on her head.
Yeah, that does sound like it'd be frustrating. But is this kind of what you were thinking of? Does this look good?
Yeah. I mean, this is rapidly approaching, like, just absolutely perfect.
Okay. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm really digging this.
Okay.
So.
And as for, let's see, you said like speaking of pink, like for the ears, how about something like this? Too bright, too. We tone it down to something more closer to this.
I like that second one there.
Okay.
And then I would go for a more saturated red for the actual eyes.
Yeah, so then like this, or a bit brighter.
Yeah, like that.
Or something more
like an aggressive pink.
Okay, like an aggressive pink. So not red like this, more like the other color.
Yeah.
Because that one looks like a Terminator.
Well, I mean, that's who he thinks he is. But,
his fucking bald spot Batman looking ass.
yeah, that is legitimately looking fantastic.
Okay. Now just for the colors, I think I can take a wild guess what the overalls would be.
Yeah, I mean, you just go for like a nice dark blue. He's probably got like a relatively like palish shirt. It's probably like some pale cream or maybe a green or whatever. Because I do want him to otherwise look like a cave-bound hillbilly.
Essentially what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he is a cave-bound hill. He's just particularly good at his job. So, as far as my side of things is concerned, I believe Umber's done.
Let's see, like that kind of blue or a bit darker, lighter.
That's a good blue.
All right, then
he's wearing his good denim to this kidnapping. All right, let me grab a screenshot here of.
So like a light kind of cream color shirt.
Yeah, like a light cream color, or maybe a green, like I want to say not a puke green, but like kind of a puke green.
Yeah, because the cream would kind of be what do you call it? Like where it's like the direct opposite of the color wheel. The kind of puke green would be kind of like the corner or like 90 degrees, whatever you call it, from the color wheel.
Yeah. So, over there where green and yellow start like coming together.
Oh yeah, that's a puke green right there. Let's see how that looks on the. Ugh. Ugh. Is that what you wanted?
Reduce the what is it, the vibrance. Reduce the vibrance down so that it's like a darker version.
Okay, yeah, that looks a bit better.
Yeah, like that. Now, if you want to get like, if you want to get like funny special with them,
Mm-hmm.
you could throw on some like splotches for like stains. Actually, if you could give him pit stains.
Okay. Actually, that. Do I want to do that in? Actually, if I did it on another layer, how would that work? Let's see.
Try switching the layer to just apply.
Okay. Something like that. Maybe like a bit. Lower the opacity a bit.
Yeah, and then again, if you want to get funky with it, you could just like brush over the edges with the blur tool.
Mm-hmm. Actually, don't want to make it that hard. But let's see if I do it more like where it actually like looks like it's kind of what do you call it, like crease in the.
Yeah, just some splotches here and there.
Let's see how would that look like on the jeans. It kind of looks more just like the. What do you think?
With that looks more just like like shading.
Yeah, the wrinkle. Like says essentially what it is. Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, that just looks like shading on the pants, but like on the shirt there, that looks like just like some stains.
Not that strong.
Yeah, he's just a dirty boy. He's out to have fun. It's just his fun comes at the expense of other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that definitely adds like I want to say texture, but maybe that's like not the best visual. But yeah, it does break up the kind of just like block of green,
Yeah, that does really good.
Let's see.
Let me grab this. All right, it is midnight, which is my cue. So let me real quick grab screen of Umber. Okay. Complete with her snake butthole.
That's a. I just love how it's just like snake butthole.
It's just like I really can't tell honestly with the expression, and I like it that way actually. I can't really tell with her expression on whether it's a like she doesn't understand why you would want to look at her butthole, or she's like, okay, fine, but like I don't understand why you want to do that, but like or if it's a, oh, what are you waiting for? Pucker up, like it could be either or, honestly.
Honestly, just personally, just from seeing the expression, I'd say it's more like you want to see it, okay, weirdo. Like,
Okay, weirdo. Like you, hey, I'm the giant snake monster here. You're the one.
no, that does legitimately look good. Legitimately look good, and I am glad that you are enjoying this, you know, token for, you know, this dude that, you know, might be this big bad guy that, you know, fucks with the players, or they might get just hilariously murdered on screen like in like half a session. Who knows?
It would be hilarious if he goes down like a bitch. Like I was not expecting that when it happened with the snail.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, the snail thing, like, that was hilarious.
But yeah, it was so hilarious for Gloria to crit twice in a row. She did 72 damage in a turn.
In one turn, yeah. That's...
I mean, 2 attacks, but...
Oh, yeah,
in one turn, she did 72 damage.
It's just that randomness, that, like, you know, expect the unexpected kind of thing that I love.
Yeah.
Doing with...
it's a really there are times, obviously, when the randomness that is inherent, from the dice and whatnot, can lead to unsatisfying results. But that was a surprising result that came out that, like, I'm glad it happened, even though, like, it cut that fight, like, short, like, to the end. Like, you guys specifically fought a slug while Gloria killed the monster.
It was a leech.
Well, yeah, it was a leech, but not that far off from a slug, and it was admittedly 6. But the thing that I liked about it, though, was that, like, it showed off what Gloria's power was, because this is the first time she's been in combat. There's been an actual, like, dice roll from her for stuff.
Yeah. Hell of a first impression.
So, like, yeah, it was a hell of a first impression, and it I did have, like, there was a brief second where I thought about the, like, like, narratively, like, how to, like, explain why Gloria just simply hadn't already done this herself already. But then I realized, that's not a problem, because I think in the way that I have characterized Gloria, like, Gloria doesn't have the personality that she would have come in just completely mopped up the snail just simply because it was mildly annoying to her. It's when it became other people who can't protect themselves as well as she can that she was ready to make a move on it. Plus, also, just in case things did go wacky, you guys were right there at her back. Because otherwise, Gloria and the Amelia were, they're both level 4 creatures. So, like literally, if it had survived that round, and had gotten to, like, do all of its malarkey, like, on Gloria would have probably taken a damn good beating herself. But yeah, like, 2 crits in a row and just absolutely destroying that snail in, like, one go was just it was so funny. It was so goddamn funny. But though, it suddenly begs me to ask the question, though, like, how many points does many hit points is this guy supposed to have? And I'm checking my notes. Okay, so just on the weird off chance, Gloria should like crit twice and also like do damn near max damage. This guy could take it. He wouldn't be good at like afterward. Would not be, but like he could take it.
Yeah.
But he also has the ability to dish it out. He is a dangerous opponent.
Yeah.
And obviously, of course, he is not going to be playing fair, and he's not going to be alone.
Oh yeah.
So that
no,
it'll be a much different encounter. But still, I'm really looking forward, and it will be all the more fun with having a mini on the map for this guy.
Yeah.
Focus your anger and frustrations.
Yeah. No, and I didn't know if like you had a token or not. Like I figured I figured it would just be like a standard troll. They told me like, oh yeah, he's like this bat hybrid troll that, is essentially literally Mick Leach with like one character changed like in the name from this Disney villain. Which I mean, it doesn't have to be that deep, They like as much as I love Umber and like it's funny, like she was supposed to be like kind of like this one note kind of villain that was supposed to be like the kind of I say like stepping off point for the party, like for like bigger and scarier things, but like she kind of morphed into this kind of enigma.
Yeah. Well, like the part of the meta of what I'm writing right now is I want Umber to come back into the narrative. So like, because this is a thing that has happened before in previous games that I have run and in games that I've been in, where like a villain would get introduced, and then they would go off, to essentially, like they show up, they're too powerful to be taken on at the moment, then they go off to go do something else while the party, levels up to get to the point where they can challenge them. And while that's a very like classic narrative structure and everything for especially for D&D or D&D related stuff, that you unfortunately you run the difficulty that like there can be stuff that happens in the between that suddenly become more interesting or otherwise distracting from that bad guy if that bad guy doesn't make presence known. So Umber just existing somewhere out there in the world doesn't mean anything to the party if she's not in some form or fashion antagonistic in an active manner.
Yeah, and as much as June, the character, has a deep personal connection with Umber at this point, as far as every other player in the game is concerned, they heard her. They didn't actually see her. June was the one that like poked her head through the window essentially. And just know that there is this monster lady that has sent I would say like shape-shifting snake people after them. It's like they don't really have any investment in her, which again, that's kind of where I worry a bit like main character syndrome. I don't really want that at all. It's just the like I think like the initial thing was like this cat and mouse thing with Umber kind of like chasing the party and like trying to what's the word, like pit them against each other, I think, a bit, or at least June. And then June kind of Uno reverse card her and she's like, oh damn. And now we're at the situation where we're kind of dealing with the kind of rogue sect of the snake people that she sent after, like, way back, who hired this mercenary cartoon character of a dude to fight us. And it's just that stuff that you can't really plan, but just kind of stumble into, that I just really like, and I hope you are liking too. And
I am.
And again, I just really don't want to feel like I'm the main character, because I want everyone else to shine equally. I want them to have their moments, have their character moments, their nemesises, their lovers, and or, you know, it's hopefully we can have that. And the party has been slowly breaking out of their shell a bit with that, and they're not as, you know, silent observers as they were in session 1. You know, they
it is coming out, you know, little bits and pieces. Syrup actually DM'd me the other day and asking me some stuff about, like, opportunities for serious role playing with Callie.
Hey, that's good.
Because, like, you know, he really just had an urge to, like, get some of that chaos out there. So, like, I gave him the opportunity to, you know, let Callie participate and cause some mischief and whatnot. But now he's feeling in the mood to, like, do some serious stuff and to, like, to bring in some of, like, her backstory stuff, and
And that's great.
I'm down for it. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to this next section, because you know, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to, like, being able to just go ham with Big Leech, and I don't know exactly how I'm but I am thinking we might have another cutscene, essentially, with Umber, but this time, like, you know, with her and the rest of the party, you know, being able to, like, see each other. So like I said, I haven't really, like, built it, but, like, I know the vibe that I want to go for, general story that I want to go for. I'm still refining that, and the way I see it, we're probably 2 or 3 sessions away from that happening, so I'm not, like, super focused on, like, making sure I have got that down, but I'm just letting it cook in the background while I'm working on other things.
Like, again, I really am loving your DM style. It's you know, it's I have said, like, 1 or 2 small criticisms, but overall it's been a blast, and I just hope everyone else is having as much fun as I am too.
It seems to be, like, you know, other than you know, several sessions ago where, like, Syrup was just having, like, a bad day, essentially. No one has mentioned that they aren't having fun. Whenever game stuff with the other players, they've all been like, very excited, honestly, to talk about it. I think Zanie's probably the one who's still the least invested in her character and stuff, because she's just sort of unsure of exactly what she could do and that sort of thing. But I've talked to her back and forth about, like, the, like, visions that her Oracle character has had, you know, and you know, made sure that she knows that I'm giving her information that she's allowed to interpret any way that she wants, but it does actually have meaning. It does have purpose and all that sort of stuff. But it is, specifically crafted to be fucking vague, and be able to be interpreted in multiple different ways. And she has so far, sat on that information because she's just kind of like stewing with it because she herself does not know. But apparently her and Johnny have discussed that, and I've also like talked to Johnny about like his character's purpose with a capital P,
Well, that's great.
which I have also written it in such a way that it could be technically interpreted multiple ways, and have just I've essentially let them, since they are playing the two mystical and magical characters, for them to just sort of like futz around with it and play with it and all that sort of stuff, and just kind of like figure out the space, because I know that out of everybody, Zany's least familiar with like doing this kind of stuff in games and whatnot. So yeah, I'm not surprised that she's a little hesitant about it. But she's still having fun. She's still enjoying playing the game. I really like the joy that I can hear. Her little mushroom character gets to shoot somebody with her. It's fun. It is. It really is. And the game, provides me with a lot of joy outside of just the other stuff that it provides me with. But like it really does make me happy. I'm very glad, honestly, that the bus company was like really down with me when I told them like, hey, Saturday afternoons, it's a no-go, and they're like, don't worry about it. So
yeah,
and that's been a thing that they've been extremely willing to work with me with. Which, on that note, I do need to go to bed.
Yeah, I was about to think I'm kind of going a little ham, to be quite honest with this.
Well, it looks really good.
Oh
it does.
no! Oh no! Did I?
How much did you put on the wrong layer?
Wait, did I or did I not? Okay, I don't think I did. I think. Okay, it was just that.
It looks like that's just line work. That layer that you just clicked on and off there.
Yeah. Okay, so it was literally just that with the eyebrows. Okay. So I turned off the ruler and then I forgot to switch to this layer, so I can just.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Let's see. It's looking nice. Thank you, Indra. But yeah, no, I was just going to. I think I was going to wrap this one up here.
One last thing I want to do on. I call it quits. First of all, because I will otherwise forget this if I don't do it now. Let's.
Why the? Oh no.
Sharpie. And go across that layer. Mark off Umber off the list. So officially, I have dropped.
No wonder it looked so.
Half of the buttholes. But now I have to size her versus everybody else in the map. Okay. Well. Okay, so Umber, this is your first time on the board with everybody.
Play nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to play nice. If you really, only want to hang out with like
there you go, Sharon.
Similar characters. Sam also has a cloaca, so she's got some.
God, you could really. I know you probably do tweak it a bit, but like, man, you just you do have a incredible sense of scale with like everybody. Like it like I know you're doing like separate images, but like it really does look like a one group shot of like all the characters.
Okay, so Calliope's always the one that throws the scale off. But well, you know what I've started doing as opposed to draw them immediately in scale with each other is to give myself plenty of room on the canvas, draw the characters as is, and then good, separate screenshot. Then I've got the option to set everybody up so that they are to scale, and I think that this should be appropriate compared to all the other not Calliope characters. So let me just scooch her over here to take up this like void. Which obviously, of course, you lose all the tail because. But this way you can see face and you can see butt. That's the whole. But yeah, like. Actually, again, let me turn Calliope off here. And
let me grab this.
No, this time let's leave Torque on here.
All right.
Yeah, so Torque and Oda, since they are the two other characters who are all part of the same setting here, versus Umber, like to scale. So like she is very large compared to everybody else.
They could use her as a couch, quite literally.
Yeah, they could. They could use her as a couch. This thing is a baseball bat.
No, we literally. I still, one of our like best moments was when we literally calculated that Umber's weapon was the size of June's thigh. Just...
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. But like that's why that's not all why, but that's part of why it gets June hot and bothered. Is because she do like them big.
Or I think it's more like she likes the challenge or like the thrill, or I always say like she's a thrill. She's a bit of a thrill seeker. That's one of her.
Definitely is a bit of a thrill. But okay, so I'll place Umber back here.
Yeah, that fits.
So she is to scale with everybody else. I think Calliope is still a little off, but Calliope is always a little off because she is so incredibly larger than everybody else. So then
I do think that this looks good to kind of cap off the thing. I did kind of go a little ham with the adding shadows and stuff. I don't think that was really quite necessarily, but it's I was just feeling the flow.
I think you did great. All right, so
just wanted to feel
okay,
just wanted to feel better after work and stuff. Probably gonna take a shower after this and just probably pass out.
That sounds good.
I do have to work.
Pass out.
I do have to work in the morning too, so I will bid you a good night.
All right, good night. I will talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye-byes.
All right, let me do those 10 push-ups for you, Shadow. And we will wrap up here. I gotta find a better setup for this because I really don't like having to kind of push my chair like up and away. Just to have room in this little small crawl space I have, or corner, whatever you would call it. It's not really a crawl space. A crawl space would be like this hole in the wall that I have right here. I literally have a gaping hole in my wall. Alright, 10 push-ups. Enough stalling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Wow, I blazed right through those. Yeah, that is one thing I am, as much as I am a bit annoyed about doing these exercises, is that I do know that they are helping me, because when I was first doing them, oh boy, I could not do 2 or 3 without taking a break, and now I just did 10 just like that. So I know they must be doing something. Now to track my chair all the way back to my desk. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all enjoy this little impromptu. And there is the Fuzzy of the hour. Thank you, Fuzzy, for joining me tonight. I hope everyone enjoyed this little impromptu stream. I just wanted to do something today. I thought about me doing Fortnite, but ended up doing this little sketch to kind of stretch the art muscles, as it were. Because unfortunately, I will be gone for tomorrow and Thursday night, and I won't get back home until Friday night. I'm not exactly sure if I'll have the energy to stream Friday, but I will be here Saturday night for our weekly Pathfinder game. That's where this lovely gentleman here will be, because they have stolen our Torque, and we are going to get her back. As always, you can watch if you want to follow up with the campaign story, you can watch the VODs either on Twitch or my YouTube channel. It has been a blast playing this game, and I do this because I really enjoy it and I want to help out Fuzzy. But for now, let's go see who is online to raid. Oh boy. I was not expecting to yawn that loud. My bad. Pardon me. Okay, we have Captain Ketchup, Blonde Guy Gamer, Irissa Hell. Don't forget, I just did them. I just did them. I literally just said how I did those push-ups just like so quickly. Anyway, okay, what's I wait, Ketchup, Captain Ketchup, Blonde Guy, Iris, Yoshi Cakes, Days DXC, Tsukumichi, Mama Nile, Mama Oko. I have a lot of mamas in my thing. Menagerie, Ultra R2, Luxie 90, Sparkle Ichi, Tibby 3D, Goodnight Snake, Bonakila, Duper, Orange Warrens, Podkin, Alicia, and Zone. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 exactly. So we're going to roll a d20, and we are going to see who we raid. So do the roll. A 8. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mama Oko. Okay, they're doing Warframe. Alright, let's see. They still streaming? Yes, they are. Alright, we're gonna give them a raid. Thank you, Shadow, for doing the raid messages. If you are not followed, you can use the second one, or if you want, you can use whatever emotes you like. And yeah, we are going to raid Mama Oko. There we go. There we go, guys. Thank you again for being here with me tonight. I'm sorry that my schedule's been so busy with work, but I just really like to do this because it makes me feel happy, you know. I can come from a long day at work, tired, and I can jump into stream and go on like an hour-long tangent about Disney movies, you know, and just feel better almost instantly. I really appreciate you all, and thank you for being here. And thank you again to Fuzzy, thank you Shadow, thank you Andrea, thank you everybody who has been lurking, and I will see you all later. Have a good night, okay, everybody? Bye-bye.